going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting, amazing, new episode of the Viall Files Bachelor in Paradise Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick. We're coming from you in New York. Allie and Amanda woke up early. They're in LA. Allie back from a wedding. Amazing. We'll talk more about that on Going Deeper, which let's just do that right away. Jason, I just keep calling him Gabby's Jason, is with us on Thursday. Really great conversation I had with Jason about his experience on the show, why he left, why he even went on. He answers all your burning questions. I really enjoyed my conversation with Jason. I quite like him a lot. So tune into that on Thursday. Joe and Serena are with us.
Hello.
For this recap. You sound excited, Joe.
No, I am. That was just, yes. Hello.
Hello.
Lots to get into. I think Shanae is calling in at some point this episode. We have 2 episodes of Paradise to cover, which should be fun. My book is finally out. Came out yesterday. I thank you, everyone who has pre-ordered it. I appreciate it. If you haven't ordered it yet, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for. Politely, sorry. I'm just kidding. And also, I couldn't help but thinking while watching these 2 episodes how everyone on the beach might benefit from some of the things that are in the book. I mean, I get that it's paradise, and it's like, this is my biggest takeaway of this episode. Like, there's reality, and then there's paradise in terms of like how people like process their emotions. I mean, quite frankly, I think a lot of what we saw is very relatable to real life, but also like in a very kind of hyperbolic, as I often say, scene. But anyways, again, the book is out. I appreciate everyone who has read it, reviewed it, and everyone who likes it. Again, it's just a book of my experiences of all the mistakes I made with love and dating. And if you find yourself relating in any way to what some of the conversations are going on in Paradise, I promise you there's a lot of stuff in the book that will make you feel a lot less stuck and a lot more empowered and a lot more in control of your decisions. And just give it a shot. I appreciate it. If you do, it's still obviously order it. Go to viallfiles.com and you can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can procure it from independent bookstores. It's on audiobook, so all the options are available, and I hope you guys give it a shot, and I really appreciate it if you do. Let's, should we get into the tea? Is there any tea, Allie, before we start busting out 2 hours, how many hours of Paradise? 4 hours?
Almost 4, yeah.
What's going on, Allie?
Well, Mike Johnson is addressing the Meghan King dating rumors. We saw their like kind of cozy interactions in Vegas.
Let me guess, nothing's going on.
Exactly. That was just for fun, Mike shared. So we were just,
they
were having a great time. Yeah.
I feel like I saw that and it definitely looked like a date. Like, I think there was like a cute little cheek kiss photo, wasn't there?
Yeah, and I
remember looking and I'm like, does Mike have a girlfriend?
Didn't they both post like static posts on their Instagrams too?
Did they? Oh,
I thought so.
I want the attention. Also, again, update on the Tino interview. Hopefully, it'll be the week of the 20th. I'm currently texting him at the moment. He's 50 pages into my book. He said it's really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I gave Tino the book. So he's learning a lot. So we respect a guy who's taking care of his mental health, and I know we all have a lot of questions for Tino, and I'm excited to ask him questions because certainly I have questions, but hopefully it will still happen, and tentatively, hopefully around the 20th. He wrote, I kind of wish he wrote it earlier, and honestly, I think I wouldn't have messed up so bad.
They should send them out with the contracts to go on the show. Like, hey, here's your contract, here's Nick's book.
Oh no, they would the producers would never go with the book. It literally tells them everything. It's the opposite of making great TV because like you consider don't overreact, think about they don't like, it's like the opposite of what Genevieve is doing.
Yeah, they're gonna ban it actually. I take it back.
It's like they would ban my book 100%.
On our season, we actually all got a copy of Chris Harrison's book.
Really?
Yeah, they like handed them out. They like, I guess when they did the erotica date, everyone got a copy.
I don't think they'll hand out my book.
I do not either.
I don't think it's going to make the best TV. It would help them make the best TV. Anyway, so Mike Johnson and Meghan King are just.
He said, we just had a great time in Vegas. So I guess that doesn't mean like nothing happened. He just said, we just had a great time. So maybe you could read into that, but who knows?
Okay.
It was probably casual hookup.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think they had a great time, or do you think they just posted pictures together? Like wink, wink.
Hard to say. I feel like they had a great time.
Do you think there was some coitus or maybe
Why
a makeout?
not? They're both hot. They're both single.
Yeah, I think they had a great time. I think they had a great Vegas weekend.
Yeah,
So
I feel like the Vegas alter egos came
We
out.
think they had sex.
I mean, there was no like, we're just friends in the
We had a great
statement. But maybe they're looking for a little clickbait. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, shameless plug.
I mean, they got it. We're talking here.
There we go.
Vanessa gave birth on Nick's birthday and a day before her birthday. Was that something you talked about, that your birthdays are a day apart when you were together?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that they were a day apart, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember now that they were. But great. Now me and Vanessa's son share a birthday.
There you go.
How about
Nice.
that?
3 little
Look at
Libras.
Well, how about that? How great for us. No, but that's super great. Happy for them. They seem like a really happy family, and I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the lovely family. And what's her kid's name?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she put the name in it. It just says her post said, "Nothing will beat my 35th birthday. Our little miracle decided to be born one day before mommy's birthday, so we celebrated his birth date and my 35th at the hospital as a new family."
Would you want the same birthday as your kid? I feel like I'd be so happy that it was one day before and not on my birthday.
I don't really care about birthdays. I think my kid.
For my kid more so.
For my kid, yeah.
Yeah, I also don't really care about birthdays, so it wouldn't really affect me.
Yeah. What? No, that's not true.
I don't care about birthdays.
I feel like you care about your birthday.
No.
No?
No, I didn't make a big deal out of my birthday at all.
Yeah, because I made a big deal of it. I made it awesome.
Yeah.
What did we do?
What do you mean? You said it was the best birthday ever.
Well,
I got you
apparently
the
not.
coffee. I got you the coffee machine. We went for a sauna. We went for Don Angie's.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It was actually a one that was.
Apparently, it wasn't that good.
Well,
we also do that stuff all the time, but
Yeah.
it was a great birthday. You did a really wonderful job.
Speaking of great birthdays, just shout out to my lovely girlfriend Natalie, who threw me a surprise birthday / book release party.
Yeah,
She popped
you guys both
off.
had big birthday parties this year that looked very fun.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have Natalie. It was great. I'm not one. It was the perfect. I'm not usually big on surprise birthday parties because I think some people go a little too far, you know, because they want the surprise. So to surprise someone, you have to disappoint someone. You know, it's like no one cares about, like, don't everyone just forget it's their birthday and don't text, and everyone's just, they're moping around so then they can like get the biggest surprise ever. But thankfully, my parents surprised me, showed up at my front door without me knowing. I had some friends flying to town as well. And then so I got to, and I knew my friends were coming, so I got to anticipate that. So I had something to look forward to, and I was still surprised by some of the other people who showed up and flew in for the party, and it was really special. And I think I'm very lucky to have Natalie. It was the best adult birthday I've ever had.
Oh,
Nice.
that's great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So it was really quite meaningful, and also
did
it's just good to
such
be
a
in New
good
York.
job.
Can I just say that it's winter? I showed up. Football was playing. I got to wear some winter coats. It was crispy out. And
Yeah.
Joe and I had a nice burger. Where did we go?
We had a great dinner. We went to Minetta Tavern. Oh, the burger was incredible.
go.
And it's just like your quintessential New York bar. And
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
woke up
Nice,
this morning. I was watching Paradise on my phone with a cup of coffee, and the wind was blowing. It was like such a vibe.
You're
It
wearing
was-
plaid, Nick. You look so fall.
I'm really enjoying being here in the fall. It's great to experience weather when you don't have to endure it for any lengthy period of time, but like when it's like something to do.
Yeah, it's
quite
probably a nice change from
great.
LA weather. But
It's
now
great.
you're like, I can go back. I don't have to endure the winters here.
I know. So anyways, I just want to throw that in there. It's good to be in New York in the fall. All right, so Vanessa's kid and me, whose name we don't know, we have the same birthday.
Yes, correct. And
Right.
we got some other people
What
just
else?
moving on with life. Sarah Heron and Kayla Quinn both announced pregnancies. And
Good for
Maddie
them, yeah.
Pruitt posted her engagement photos, and I believe she posted them yesterday. And the caption was 27 days. So I guess 26 days from today. And they got engaged after 9 months. And now I guess they're getting married within the
Yeah.
month. So they are
Yeah,
really
fuck it, why
going
not?
for
I mean,
it.
I think they operate on a different wavelength. in
yeah, no,
terms of-
they moved quick.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you're gonna wait forever to have sex, once you
Once
Yeah.
you know, like, let's get down the aisle.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
so-
But I feel like I don't know about him, but she specifically has unique values, at least from
Sure.
people in Bachelor Nation when it comes to what she's looking for in a relationship. So I feel like there's kind of a different rule book for them.
Yeah, I feel like she might be more into like the list, like it's like lists of like what her partner,
Yeah, she definitely has some hard non-negotiables, it seems like.
that are.
I
I don't know how much it speaks. Well, anyways, I'm
You know
not
what?
Good
This
for them.
is so random and maybe nosy of us, but we were looking for wedding planners the other day and we were scrolling through old Bachelor couples like wedding photos to see. And Maddie Pruitt, I think, is getting married at the same place. I don't know, but has the same planner as Raven and Adam did.
Okay.
And they had like a beautiful wedding. So I'm excited to see the photos from it.
I'm just surprised how fast they actually planned the wedding. Like we just started looking into like wedding planners. I'm like, oh, this is
Maddie and her.
Yeah, Maddie and her, because they,
fiance.
I mean, they got engaged how long ago?
I feel like it was
but
like
when
a
your
month.
daddy's a zillionaire, I don't know if it really matters.
True.
Yeah, this guy's
It's like,
the
do you want
limit.
to get married tomorrow? We can throw.
Yeah,
True, got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this guy is the limit for them.
Yeah. So, and it's just like, it sounds like a couple people just want to have sex, and start their
I don't blame them.
Start
Good for
their,
them. Get your life going.
preaching careers.
I think Astrid and Kevin are getting married soon also, actually, from your season. Your season of Paradise? Your first season?
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Bachelor Nation, weddings,
They have a
engagements,
kid?
babies. They have a baby, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they must have been like a COVID wedding where it got pushed and then she got
I
pregnant.
love that. I love the, is that the first Bachelor couple to have a child out of wedlock?
Out of wedlock? I don't know. Is it?
Our first progressive Bachelor couple,
Yeah,
Like, we don't need that.
a little
that
COVID
marriage.
baby.
Yeah, we just. I love that for them.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that
I think
too.
they are. I think they are.
I'm trying to
Carly
think
and
if-
Evan, did they have
What
a
about?
kid before they were married? They might have.
Did they? No.
No, I don't think so.
No,
he
I
had
would-
kids before they
He
got
had,
married.
yeah, Evan had like a bunch of kids.
Yeah, but
from-
don't they have a couple kids together?
They do,
Oh.
but I believe they. Yeah,
They were-
I mean, I was
okay,
at
yeah.
their wedding. I don't believe Carly. I mean,
Oh yeah.
she
okay.
she might have been prego. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But
They're-
I do not believe they had a child before.
Yeah, Astrid and Kevin have the first physical baby premarital.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
All right. I know there's people out there who are struggling getting a good night's sleep. I know you're there. I know there's probably several of you listening to the show right now. And if you heard me talking about Helix sleep mattresses, well, I ain't lying to you, baby. Chances are, if you're not getting a good night's sleep, there's a lot of reasons why. And if you're looking for the best mattress in the world, look no further than Helix mattress. Every time I travel, I've never had a mattress in my life that I've always looked forward to getting back into bed. And Natalie and I, every time we're out of town, would come back, and that first moment in bed is a glorious moment. I've always prided myself on being someone who can sleep on anything. And it's true. I can survive. I'm not high maintenance. I'm not a diva. But boy, when you find a mattress that works for you, there is truly nothing better. And Helix makes it possible. It's really simple. Just go to helixsleep.com, take a quick quiz. Whether you're a side sleeper, sleep on your back, firm, medium, soft, whatever you like, they have a mattress for everybody, and they will fit you with the mattress that your body deserves so you get the best sleep possible. Helix mattresses are American made and come with a 10 or 15-year warranty depending on the model. You can also try it for 100 nights risk-free. Boy, super incredible. You don't need a box spring. That's also great. It comes in this box. It's also just fun to like open up and like inflate. It was named by GQ and Wired magazine as the best mattress, which is great. Over 12,000 5-star reviews. I am a Helix Sleep mattress customer for life. I don't know what more I can say. So if you want to get the best sleep of your life and get the Helix Sleep experience, because Helix Sleep is offering $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners, go to helixsleep.com/VIALL. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Article is doing great things in the furniture department. Doesn't matter if it's indoor or outdoors. Article has it all. Their modern Scandinavian, mid-century, industrial bohemian designs look good in all different types of places. I get so many compliments on my Article couch.
It is a classy couch. And you hosted Natalie's birthday party recently, and that was a classy event. And let me just say, it was a cohesive, classy event.
Classy. Also comfortable. And the best thing about Article, you're not overpaying. They cut out the middleman. They just cut them right out. I do know that you can save up to 30% over traditional retail prices. I know that much. And again, they have so many great furnitures. The shopping experience is incredible. So many different options to select from. Plus, everything they have in stock will be shipped to you in 2 weeks or less. If you don't like your thing you order, which would be shocking, they make the exchange or return process super easy. All in-stock items are delivered in 2 weeks or less. And free shipping is available in the U.S. and Canada and orders over $999. Fast and affordable. It's amazing. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your purchase of $100 or more. So to claim that, visit article.com/VIALL, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your purchase of $100 or more.
I told Joe and Serena, I was like, if you want to spice things up, let's start a rumor about you guys right now. Because other than that, it seems like everyone's doing pretty well.
How's your guys' love?
I mean,
terrible. We're on the verge of a breakup.
Wow, I was going to go the opposite too.
Really? I'm just trying to spice it up for next podcast.
No,
you know?
we have started the search for a wedding planner, and we're really trying to lock down a date and a location. So we're doing all that right now.
Yeah, we're hoping for fall next year, fall 2023.
Yes.
Wedding. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited. It's good. It's going good.
Fall wedding.
First fall wedding. Yep, first fall in New York since we moved here in April. Like we're never here, trying to spend more time here. But we got nothing juicy on our end.
Yeah. It's the boring
I think you
couple.
guys are, not that it matters, but I think you guys are a great couple. I like you both as individuals and as a couple. You guys seem great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're striving.
And you were just tweeting like a motherfucker last week.
Yeah.
Brave man. Really just going for owning the age difference.
Yeah.
What did you tweet?
I tweeted, what did I tweet? It was
something
like
because
Michael A kept saying that the women are so youthful, and I said youthful never stopped me and Kenny, which was a joke, obviously.
Well, I mean, it would have been very creepy if you were like these two single guys on the prowl for younger girls, but you're two engaged men.
Yeah.
I mean,
aren't they prego too?
They're not prego from what I know, but they are planning.
Oh, they faked a pregnancy.
They faked it with the duck.
They did a joking pregnancy post, but they're planning their wedding also. Like, you're in serious, committed, loving relationships just with younger women.
Yeah. And the thing was, like, I was making fun of myself, and it's not like we're Kenny and I are like strolling around like looking for younger women. It's like I'm engaged to a woman who's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny too. I thought it was funny too.
What I've learned on this show is like if you make a joke, you have to let people know that you're joking, and then you have to. And if you make a criticism, you have to say no judgment afterwards. Like if you make an observation, I don't know.
Yeah, that's if you care. I really don't care. That's if you care. I don't. I'm like I'm just having fun watching the show, tweeting away.
I enjoy it. All right, we have actually Shanae is here, so like why don't we just talk to Shanae and then we'll get into the recap. Shanae, welcome.
Yes, hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying what I believe to be the Shanae redemption season. How are you enjoying it so far?
The Shanae redemption, I'm enjoying it. It's honestly been the best experience so far.
Are you having fun? You seem happy. You seem like you're glowing. You know, you seem like you're a little less guarded, which I hope is a sign that this redemption season is in full swing. I don't know how much you can give away, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your Paradise experience? Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10?
So right now, experience, it's definitely a 10.
Okay, all right. How would you have rated your experience on Clayton's season?
-1,000. I mean,
-1,000. Okay.
It wasn't a fun experience, and obviously you guys saw and heard and read, but it was not a fun experience for me. So I'm living it up on Bachelor in Paradise right now.
I hear you. And what do you think was the main reason for the negative infinity on Clayton's season?
I think honestly, the women themselves. I think I'm a very approachable, fun, bubbly person to get to know, especially, in 5 seconds. I'm a recruiter and I feel like I can be someone's best friend in 5 seconds. So I don't know, jealousy, intimidation, confidence factor. Right when I first walked in, at the mansion the first day, I could tell like it was not. I could just feel it. I could see it. And I was like, this is not going to be good. So from day one, I felt it. And obviously look where we were on The Bachelor. So
yeah. Well, what do you think? Did you approach it? Like, so after coming off of Clayton season, hated the experience. Obviously you said some things that pissed people off.
Right.
People said some things that pissed you off. What approach, if anything, did you do differently coming into Paradise that you changed that directly correlated into you enjoying this experience better?
So I really tried to stay true to myself. I tried to do that on The Bachelor, but I don't think the ladies did give me the time of day. I know there was a lot said and a lot done, but this time going into Bachelor in Paradise, I wanted to listen more, right? I wanted to see and hear like, okay, like these ladies are decent people to get to know and, potentially be friends.
Yeah.
Do you think that because you kind of started off on the wrong foot with the ladies on Clayton season, you were kind of like, fuck it, I don't get along with them anyway. Let's just lean into this. And then when it was so difficult going that route, you kind of decided to take a different approach into Paradise.
Absolutely. I definitely leaned into it more towards Bachelor in Paradise. I was hesitant to go. I was nervous. I was scared, but I kept hearing that Bachelor in Paradise is a way different experience. So I'm glad I went for sure, because I was living it up and it was actually fun. So for me to say it was fun and amazing, like that's huge for me.
We saw last week you kind of go out of your way to talk loose off the bed. Or Lace, as they often refer to her. But can you walk us through that? I'm curious because, for all the shit you got on Clayton season, I thought it was at least another side of you, an empathetic side of you. Maybe, what was it, because you empathize with feeling like excluded on Clayton season, or is that something you normally do when you kind of go out of your way to see someone kind of distancing themselves from the group? Like, what was your reason for doing it? And why do you think you did it?
I know, I'm trying to think back to like on The Bachelor. Like, I know I did do that, but obviously that was not aired. But I do empathize with people, and I'm very sensitive when it comes to people's like hurt feelings, or you can tell, just looking at them, like they're not feeling okay or they're not doing so well. So we were drinking, Wells was pouring us shots and stuff. And I was wondering and like looking around, where's Lace? Couldn't find her. So I heard that she was up, in our bunk beds, and I went up there to go see her, and I think she was sleeping, to be honest. And then she woke up and she was just really, disappointed and mad because she didn't feel included, but also she was mad at the guys because no one was approaching her. So she just wants to be pursued. And, she's been on Bachelor in Paradise. She said that her experience was a lot more fun and better than what she was going through. So I did empathize for her. And also, like, I've been in that position, right? I felt so alone on The Bachelor, and I only had myself basically to talk to. So I wanted to be there for her because I vibe with her when she got down there. She's funny. She's fun. She doesn't give two shits about people, like to an extent, right? But I've been in those shoes,
she doesn't give a shit.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean like what people necessarily think. I think like you, Luce also cares about people. I'm just gonna call her Luce. It's more fun.
I do. That is a funny name, but yeah, I felt bad for her for sure.
Yeah. What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about you?
I try to find that out and know that, guys. I think I do have a little bit RBF for sure. You can tell when I'm feeling a type of way, but I think the first impression, I think people take me wrong. I don't know, just because I think I'm very warm and welcoming. Like I said, I'm a recruiter, for God's sake. So I don't know. I just wish I had that answer, to be honest, but yeah, I don't.
It's funny. Hi, Shanae. I met her last week. She did our podcast.
Yeah.
And if I would have talked to her and interviewed her before her season aired, I would have said top 3. Like, this girl's top 3. She's going to get the Hero edit. She's going to probably potential Bachelorette or the Star of Paradise.
Why you?
No,
we were Shanae fans.
We were talking about this. I was talking like it's
Joe, I think, tweeted like Shanae for Bachelorette last season.
Yeah, I'm cosign. I thought, I'm just saying, like, yeah. And then, like, obviously what happened on Clayton's season kind of changed things for you. But yeah.
But I like that we're seeing this, like, confidant side of you, because I feel like on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, people get very one-dimensional portrayals because you can only see so much, and you get to see so many more layers to people on Paradise. And I feel like we even saw, like, I think Kira and you had a moment where she was confiding in you. Like, people are clearly drawn to you looking for advice and just kind of like a shoulder to lean on.
Oh, right. And that feels amazing because, I didn't get that at all. I didn't get any suggestions, feedback. So getting that now is definitely a plus.
What advice would you have to anyone in the world, forgetting about the show, for someone who has once felt excluded? I guess my question is, like, as much as, like, I always say the house is the bully, and certainly I don't think people got to see that, but nevertheless, you certainly did say things that, rubbed some people the wrong way. And certainly it's not like you weren't ever wrong with how you responded to feeling excluded. Like, when you went into Paradise, did you decide to try to approach your disappointment differently, or were you planning on kind of still giving the if you don't like me, I'm gonna fucking hate you back type of mentality? What was your kind of approach there? Like, what did you want to change differently about how you handled being ostracized? Or left alone.
So I took in consideration like of my feelings and like other people's feelings that I want people to like me. Do I care necessarily? No, but I want people to see who I really am. You know, I am actually a very sensitive person. I'm gullible. I'm funny. I'm serious at times, but I just went into it as like, you're still going to get Shanae, but hopefully just not the drama side. But it takes two to tango, right? It depends on the situation and what's happening. But there wasn't a lot of drama so far. So that's what was awesome, right? I could be Shanae. People got to see who the real Shanae was.
Yeah, and something I've noticed, at least so far in Paradise, is while there's a lot of, especially week one, with the men having the roses and the power, you saw, it seemed like, you know, some of the women really, that got to them, you know, lacking the power, and there was a lot of hoping to be picked and hoping to be chosen, and and not a lot of thought and consideration to, you know, why they were feeling the way they were or why they were pursuing certain people. It just really, it seemed like their only objective was to like have somebody. And yet with you, it seemed you were a little bit more open-minded, but you seemed, I don't know, to me, you know, less in need of the validation or a rose. And why do you think that is? Like, as far as a dater in the real world, like how would you rank your confidence level in terms of you learning about someone and deciding to like them versus hoping someone likes you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my whole goal was to connect with someone, right? I didn't go there just for a rose. But can I talk about Logan, right? Like there was a connection there. It was all real. There was real feelings. And I think having that confidence, I didn't have to think about confidence, right? I'm already a confident person, but when you have a feeling that's mutual and reciprocated, it should be easy going into a rose ceremony because you're like, wow, this person likes me. I hope, you know, he's not lying with whatever he's saying and talking to some other girl and saying the same things. But I think that's where my confidence comes from.
Did the age difference between you guys throw you off at all?
What's the age difference?
Was he too youthful?
No.
Who Logan?
Yeah.
Oh, he's younger, isn't he?
Yeah, he's younger.
It was a little, yeah.
How old are you, Shanae?
I get, but age is just a number.
Fuck yeah.
At the time, he definitely was mature. So to be continue to see his 26-year-old self. But yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about Genevieve for a second. As Genevieve would describe you early on, your mortal enemy, which seemed, you know, a bit over the top. I had a chance to talk with Genevieve. I haven't talked with Genevieve since Women Tell All, when I think Genevieve came on the podcast. And I think, I mean, I was just slightly critical of the way she responded to Shanae on Women Tell All. But I think Genevieve's a star. I'm in love watching her in Paradise. But how would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you define, like, what do you think of Genevieve in terms of, what do you think of Genevieve? Yeah,
here in Paradise?
No, just in general. I just want to know your opinion
honestly,
of Genevieve.
Yeah, so a couple people told me that we are kind of the same person, as a matter of fact. But I think she is a down-to-earth, funny, outgoing, loud, competitive human. And I like that about her.
Did you have a strategy going into Paradise of like how you want to navigate your relationship with Genevieve, or did you even give it any thought?
Honestly, I didn't think of it. I was like, I'm just going in there, you know, hopefully they can give me a second chance to redeem myself. But I was just going in it to be who I am like right now to this day.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think it's very evident both on Clayton season and so far in Paradise that you may not make all the best decisions. No one does. But I enjoy watching you in a sense that I feel you're one of the more authentic people in the sense that you are confidently yourself for the better or for the worst. And I've enjoyed seeing some of your better qualities be shown in Paradise. And it's been fun to watch.
Thank you. I'm glad. I can't wait to like continue to read and see people like how they're like, oh dang, like who is this person? But I'm super excited.
Yeah. Well, it's happy to see. It's exciting to see you smile. I enjoyed it. I know that for a minute it was pretty tough in the DMs.
Thousands a day. That was not going away, but just
Isn't
delete,
it crazy?
delete.
Isn't it crazy how quick people will flip though?
I'm like, do you have a life? What are you doing?
Like it's probably like a hate DM, and then like a couple months later from the same person, like you're my
I'm
favorite.
ready. I'm like, oh, now you love me. Weird.
Yeah, we're just seeing different sides of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything you want to tease? Something we can look forward to? What's your any moments that you think we can look forward to anticipating?
You have to watch. It's so good. Like I can't even explain it. From the dates to the group dates, double dates. Maybe I was a Bachelorette in Paradise. I don't know.
All right. You were playing the field.
Just a little bit.
Your little fuckboy energy.
No, not fuckboy energy. Just like if my guy wasn't giving it his all and some new guy came down and wanted to take me out, let's go. Absolutely.
There we go. All right. Shanae, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes.
I'm glad this experience is going better for you so far, and I hope the audience continues to learn and see more of your likable characteristics, which I know we all have. So
perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah. Yes. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Bye, Shanae.
I don't know. I like Shanae. I know. I'm always a defender of the villains, but at least I like people to consider that it's possible that maybe on a reality TV show you might only be seeing a sliver of their personality.
Yeah. My thing with her on The Bachelor too was she definitely made some unpopular choices,
she leaned
into it for sure. But she was bringing so much entertainment to the show. Like she was really creating so much entertainment for the viewers, and that definitely wasn't popular with the women in the house, which I totally understand. But as a viewer, like you need someone like her.
And she also got a lot of slack for talking bad about the other women in the house in interviews, which everyone does.
They just aired it.
They just aired it. Yeah.
It's nice to see Shanae doing better and smiling. I always enjoy seeing that. Hungry Root, healthy food made easy and delivered easy right to your door. So many of you I know are busy bees, and the hardest part about being busy and being hungry is that it's really hard to be busy and eat right at the same time. It is. There's something about, listen, fast food. There's a reason why fast food isn't healthy for you. But Hungry Root is a meal food delivery service that makes getting fresh ingredients and high quality ingredients delivered right to your door easy to make, fun to make, delicious, and good for you.
Here's the thing. I'm not a cook. I've never claimed to be a cook. I wasn't raised to be a cook. I avoid cooking at all costs. I'm also very impatient, and I don't like reading instructions. However, I have been able to feel like an actual cook with the minimal and easy to follow instructions and already like pre-prepared labeled ingredients that Hungry Root sent me. Like it's a recipe for success, even as someone like me who likes to like throw away the manual. You can also do that because you have all your labeled ingredients. And if you want to cook your own thing, you can cook your own thing. I had these taco mix and it was really great. And it was simple to make. And I still think about them to this day.
Hungry Root will recommend groceries they think you'll love. Take their suggestions and or choose what you want from fresh produce, high quality meats and seafood, pantry staples, healthy snacks, and sweets, and much more. You're not just getting your weekly grocery haul. You can also shop thousands of simple recipes that actually put your food to use. The best part is everything that Hungry Root offers follows a simple standard. It's got to taste good, be quick to make, contain whole, trusted ingredients. Spend less time shopping and cooking, more time enjoying healthy food that you actually love with Hungry Root. Right now, Hungry Root is offering Viall Files listeners 30% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/VIALL. Get 30% off your first delivery and get free veggies for life. That's hungryroot.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. All right, let's just get into the meat of the episode. It started off, I want to talk about Romeo starting off.
So do we.
The explorer.
Romeo is in his fuckboy era, which is great for him, I guess, in life. Bad in paradise.
He just feels like he's new to his fuckboy era and he does not know how to navigate it. And he's trying and failing.
Yeah. I want to like him. But after this episode, there was a lot of icks from Romeo. It's like, just if you're gonna be a fuckboy, just be a fuckboy. And there's nothing wrong. Like everyone here is a fuckboy on this beach. I mean, truly everyone. And it's the pretending to not be in a fuckboy season. Where they just it's the over the top, I want to see something here, and as opposed to just the casual, I just want to get to know you. Yeah. But Romeo, there's an intensity with every conversation he has that doesn't fit the connection he seems to be pursuing.
Yeah, he wants to play the field right now. Yeah. He wanted to come to Paradise and play the field. And he keeps having conversations that are not leading the women on to think that.
Yeah, he either doesn't know what he wants or he knows what he wants and he's just not doing a good job of communicating it and getting himself into really uncomfortable situations.
And he's completely cracking under the pressure.
Absolutely.
Like he is falling apart. He cried like 4 times.
Are those real tears?
I think they're more tears of like embarrassment.
Yeah, I did.
Did that make it worse?
I did feel for him a little bit, like when Brittany like swerved his kiss. Like regardless, I don't agree I don't agree with how.
Feel bad.
I don't agree with him even like going about it that way. Not that I feel bad for him, but he had to feel so embarrassed. Like I felt embarrassed for him.
I didn't feel bad for the swerve because just pay attention.
Yeah,
I
shouldn't have said I feel bad. I don't feel bad for the swerve.
You just empathize that rejection's hard.
I just like know how I know after the fact how embarrassing he must feel because of that.
You know what I didn't get?
But it's his fault.
He did a classic guy move, which is like focus on what I want to say. I'm going to go for it and like look down on the floor and not like read the signals. And then I think there's a classic mistake that a lot of guys do, talking about in my book, by the way. And I think everyone does for a certain extent, is that it's really tough to put yourself out there. It's really hard to be vulnerable. And I think men are more guilty than women, but I think everyone's guilty. There's a sense of entitlement. Like they feel like, well, if I'm going to be vulnerable, then you owe me at least your consideration. Like it took a lot for me to do this. And as a requirement, I need you to respond a certain way. And then when it doesn't go that way, they act a fool and they kind of have this energy. And so I think Romeo was just focusing on what he expected Brittany to give him back and wasn't even paying attention to these faces she was clearly making, and then decided to seal it with a kiss. And I think Romeo's probably a guy who's probably used to going out to the bars in New York and spitting some game and just going in for a makeout. And maybe
that's where I disagree with that.
What do you mean?
I don't think Romeo is like real life fuckboy going out to bars and spitting game and able to just grab women. I think he's somewhat awkward, and I think it's actually harder for him to talk to women.
Yeah, I think he went into that conversation with Brittany having played it out in his head, having a game plan of this is what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to kiss her. And instead of being open and flexible to what her response was going to be, that was step 3 of the plan, and he was going to go in for that kiss and thought maybe, she was going to kiss him back to reward him for his vulnerability or because she wanted to. I don't know, but it was really awkward. I also don't understand why he was chasing people to accept his rose. Like he had the power.
Yeah, no, it was, I think like you said, he was spiraling. He started getting rejected. And then at that point, regardless if he had the rose, he felt powerless by the lack of validation. I don't think Romeo is when I say fuckboy, I don't mean this confident guy who's popping bottles and bringing a new girl home every night. I just mean you can be a fuckboy and not be good at it.
Yeah, true.
And you can be a fuckboy and be an introverted hipster. You know what I'm saying? Not every fuckboy is a River North, if you're from Chicago, kind of popping bottle finance bro.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And so I just think Romeo is a fuckboy in his group of kind of artistic critical thinkers, and I think Romeo does very well in certain circles, right? He's a tall, good-looking, handsome guy who reads and I think Romeo is aware of his brand.
Okay.
Sure. My guess is Romeo probably has a history of with women who would accuse him of not paying attention and reading the signals properly, and it wouldn't shock me if this has happened to Romeo in the past in terms of being awkward and weird, mostly because he is not paying attention when he is speaking and just assuming what the response should be rather than just being present in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've seen that now not work out for him essentially 3 times, unfortunately. But
I mean, when he was spitting game, is it Haley?
Oh my gosh, I forgot he did this. Yeah, Haley.
He was just I just want to see.
After he was sobbing on the table and she comforted him and comforted him.
Yeah.
And he, I think, said you're beautiful, you're a ray of sunshine, I'd love to see where this goes. And she was like, what? Where did this just come from?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Romeo might as well say, I will literally date anyone. I have my favorites, but also I'll take anyone.
I just wanted to shake him and be like, Romeo, you have a rose and the girls don't. You don't have to know who you're going to date next week. You don't have to pursue any of these women next week. Obviously, it's not working out. Whoever you give this rose to is very likely going to accept it.
Yeah.
So just pick who you care about the most or you want to find love, whether it's with you or not, and just give that person the rose.
He let the pressure get to him. It was as simple as that. Once he got shut down from Brittany, he totally spiraled and didn't know what to do and then just started running around acting like a fool.
Insecurities got the best of him, unfortunately. And I feel like everyone is treating it like we're like 3 weeks in by the way they're all talking.
Yeah, which is, I noticed that so much more this year than any other year previously. Like everybody, like I feel like, where's the story? Like we're already in like this crazy drama and I feel like we're on week 3 and it's like 3 days in.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, she talked about liking Logan, and I'm just the whole time I'm watching it, I'm being like, what? Because you know, we just have the best connect. You know, they start talking about their connection, and I'm just thinking he called someone else loose yesterday, and like, there's a good chance
he doesn't know your name.
You know, he's gonna call you Bailey.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, truly.
And then they just talk about like, I just want to know, like, I would love someone in Paradise, like. And that's why I really like Brittany. Brittany, when she was even talking to Romeo, like right off the bat, she had this, you know, granted, she obviously isn't in Romeo. She made that very clear. I think what did she say? What an L for Romeo. Like I'd rather, I don't know what she'd rather do. But
something like I'd rather get hit by a bus.
Hit by a bus.
Something very harsh.
That was, he kind of deserved it at that point. But what I loved about Brittany is like she came across as someone who doesn't need to be there, who is open to being there. And if the right person comes along, she is down to get to know them. But right off the bat, there is such a different energy with Brittany than so many of the other people in Paradise, which is, you know, Romeo sits down, he's got a rose, he's got the power, and he's like, you know, spitting his game. And Brittany's just like, well, let me ask you some questions. Let me check in with you. And I love that for her. And it just goes to show that regardless of who has the rose, I do think that you can maintain your power by simply just not acting like all you want is someone's validation, that you just ask some questions. Like, yeah, thanks for the compliment. Thanks for like this and that, but I have some questions for you. And that immediately will turn people on their head.
100%.
Well, Brittany's doing so great because she's still remembering and considering she has a real life, like a life outside of this. So she's coming in here at true, like, there's a lot of people that come on this show and like, I just want to be myself. Like, I'm just here to be myself. Like, Brittany's just being herself. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's great to watch.
Yeah, I think you feel that too with her confidence. Like she is not jumping at the first connection. And Brittany is someone that we haven't really seen have a strong connection yet. So there's a lot of people in her position that would have jumped at the opportunity to, you know, seduce Romeo and get his rose. And okay, there's interest here. There's opportunity here, I think is what a lot of people look at it like. And she's just like, yeah, no, I don't really feel it with you. You know, I go home. I don't go home. Who cares? Like, I'm not going to fake it with someone that I'm not interested in just to stay on this beach, which I think a lot of people's tears this past week came from a fear of going home over a fear of 100%. Losing a really, really strong connection because it's so early.
Yeah. And it's just so obvious and it just kind of makes, like, it's just kind of a gross thing. Yeah. It's hard to have any sympathy for the tears because it's just like, it's not about, you can't, it's impossible for you to feel the way you are claiming to feel about any of these people. You just don't want to go home.
Yeah, it's like I'm losing my chance at love in paradise, not I'm losing love in paradise.
Yeah. And that's why it's just so silly because it's such a relatable thing to say. Like if somebody would just come out and be like, I'm just really sad because I don't want to go home because I want to see somebody comes down and I fall in love. And if you say that right away,
or I like where things are going, this person,
relate to you.
And I want to have the chance to keep seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
No, it's something that very few people I think figure out on the show. It's what made Ashley I a star, you know, especially if you're willing to go back on. It's why Shanae is, you know, I think seeing some success is that everyone talks about being real and being authentic, but very few people on the show are because it takes some guts to like just come down and actually be yourself. And, you know, I hope we get to see more of Brittany because she seems to be someone who is just comfortable with being who she is. And if people like her, great. And if they don't, great. And if she sticks around, great. If she goes home early, she'll live. And that always comes, it's so obvious to see with certain people. We saw that with Teddi, and someone who just decided to go home, which was abrupt, but at the same time, I respect the move. Like, she didn't need it, you know?
Were you surprised by her exit?
I was. I felt like she kind of panicked. I wish she would have stayed, but I think she was so worried about looking bad because she didn't like Andrew, and Andrew is a fan favorite and a very likable guy. I feel like she went home for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I almost feel like she was looking at herself like, oh, I'm a villain. Like, yes. I've done something so bad that it's not, like, I can't be saved. I have to leave.
Well, also, like, all the cards were stacked in her favor. Like, she's also a fan favorite. She goes down early. The guy that she's super into is super into her, and it's perfect. Like, they meet on the beach. Everything
they
should
get the first
work.
Date.
Yeah, they get the first date. Everything should work, and that it's not. I think Teddi was like, well,
everything was working in my favor and it didn't work, so it's just not going to work.
And if I stick around, like, how am I not going to be the villain? Like, there's more. The odds are better that I hurt somebody else.
Yeah.
So
I liked Teddi last season. I still liked her this season.
I did too.
I totally sympathized with her situation.
I mean, I don't think she should have left. I wish she didn't leave because I think she makes for good television.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, it's disappointing, and I think she went home for the wrong reasons. I respect it more than sticking around for the wrong reasons, but I think, like, we have to suffer because I do think Teddi is a compelling character and someone who is fun to root for. And I wish she would have been less self-conscious about how she came across or her brand. And I don't say that as a criticism. I think I can empathize with it, but if you just power through and just be willing to have things play out, I would have liked to see her get to know some other people, because, like, I mean, obviously the episode ended with Rodney wanting to take her out, and at the end of the day, maybe she just didn't feel it for Rodney.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you guys think if she was really into Rodney, she would have stuck around? Like, if it was, I don't know.
I don't know, only because probably, but I think her exit was so abrupt that I think the only explanation is she was just so worried about looking bad that she's like, she doesn't know Rodney. So, like, all she could have done is been excited and think he was cute and he's all those, he is great and he's cute and he's attractive. But, Teddi obviously, it seems like, talked about being the virgin, so she's a little bit more reserved and a slower paced person probably when it comes to dating. And so, like, I'm just not sure if there would have been a guy who could have convinced her to stay, given her fears of how things might come across. Is it, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think that her excitement for Rodney or whoever came down was never going to outweigh her fear of staying on the beach, hurting Andrew, potentially dating someone in front of him. Like, I think her fear of staying was so much greater than any potential excitement that she was just like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, totally. Justin, let's talk about Justin. Compelling character. I'm enjoying watching Justin on Paradise. For a guy who was a runner-up in Katie's season, like, we didn't get to see any of Justin. As a human being, I've gotten to know Justin. I quite like him. I think he's great. He's making decisions that are fun to watch, and I don't totally understand at all.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, not a closer. I also appreciated, that's what I love about those guys. I was a little worried they're going to be mad at me because I said they weren't closers. And then they did that whole spoof at Wrigley Field where they called up Andrew, and then like a day later, and like he pretended to be an actual closer in baseball.
Oh,
like,
did they? I didn't even see that.
Those guys are so great.
They
don't take themselves too seriously. They get it. Like, they didn't freak out by me calling them not closers. But Justin is, like, the conversations here's what I don't understand why people don't get about Paradise yet. Like, if you say the phrase, I'm just weighing my options, you're fucked. Yeah. Like, this is not, I understand in real life you definitely want to, everyone's the hero in their own story. So, you want to take things slow. And then Justin, like, also, like, he was like, oh, I'm just gonna, he wanted to after his date with Victoria, he goes, in his ITM, I just want to be communicative and talk through. And then he sits down with Genevieve and he goes, puts his arm behind his back. It's like, yeah, so, like, what a day. And then he goes something like, yeah, it was, like, fun. And this is tough. That was Justin being communicative.
any conversation
with Genevieve.
between Genevieve and Justin, the communication is just so interesting to me. I have so many questions about both of their choices. And then when you bring them together, it's just a beautiful mess most of the time.
Yeah, I think they're two people who genuinely want to find someone, but also are both maybe lacking a little self-confidence. They're not sure exactly what they want, and they're just, in an endearing way, I think they're both a little too fixated on being picked rather than prioritizing their own individual needs and going for what they think they deserve and not being afraid to be alone for a period of time. I think you see that same energy with Genevieve and Justin. And it is quite fascinating. That the only thing they have in common is their desire to be picked.
I really like Justin. I've hung out with him in the real world multiple times. But I think a lot of his hesitation towards Genevieve was the fact that he was unsure about how Victoria Fuller felt about him.
Yeah.
I think he was really into Victoria and just was insecure about that and then didn't want to lose potentially what he could have with Genevieve.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a little bit I think it's a classic case of claiming you have the best intentions, but at the end of the day, putting your own needs before someone else's, how do you go from everything he said about Genevieve? He's like, oh, I just want to I like you, when he made the cake for Genevieve, that was so bizarre.
So bizarre.
So you just went on this date and then he acted like he was doing Genevieve a favor by basically presenting her a cake production made for him.
Yeah, and she's like, great, thank you, but do you like me? She's like, do you like me though? And he's like, well, I brought you a cake. And he's like, okay, but do you still want to date Victoria because I'm getting no validation from you? And he's like, but I just brought you a cake. I was like, Justin, you're not answering the question and you're just getting mad at her for being mad at you at this point.
Yeah.
Because you want this to be smooth sailing, which it's just not gonna be. And he just told Victoria he was into her.
Literally, yeah, and then told us that he wants her rose.
Exactly, and then proceeded to have a very heated conversation with Genevieve. But I was like, if you can be clear with Victoria, you should be able to be clear with Genevieve. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. No pun intended.
Yeah, there you go.
100%. And it's it's just such. I don't think Justin's a fuckboy. By nature, I just think he isn't as communicative as he wants to claim he wants to be. I think people are so afraid down there and I feel like the women are better at it than the men in Paradise. They seem because there's, again, reality and then there's Paradise, and Paradise is not reality. And you should, what Brandon and Serene are doing. Just listen, you have 3 weeks. Pick the person you're most physically attracted to and spend the next 3 weeks trying to get to know each other. And just commit to that person, because that's best case. But this whole trying to figure out, and wait, every time someone says, I'm just weighing my options, you're fucked. As soon as I hear someone say that, I'm just you're fucked. You're not going anywhere. And I'm just surprised by so many people who are willing to outwardly say, mic'd up and indirectly define someone as an option.
Yeah, and Genevieve even said that. I don't think Justin ever used the word option, but I think she said, I don't want to feel like an option. You spent a day with me, you spent a day with her, decide. And he was just not willing to decide.
And like you said, there's 3 weeks. There's just not enough time. You have to be decisive on this show and just make your mind up and see if it works.
Yeah.
And I could be totally wrong on this, but to me, Justin being torn between Victoria and Genevieve kind of just says he's not that into either of them. I don't know. Do you agree or no?
I think he was into Victoria. I think he just wasn't sure where Victoria was, and that made him insecure. And then and I think he was still potentially into Genevieve. I think he might have been more interested in Victoria. Yeah. That's what I think.
Sure. I mean, he doesn't know either of them.
Yeah.
But I love Genevieve's character. I was
going to say, she's making great. She's made for.
She's a producer's
Absolutely.
dream. Because
she's a star.
Whenever you ask her, how are you feeling? She is so honest and it's so extreme. It's never I'm fine. It's if you have a good day, she's this was fucking amazing. And if it's just if she burnt her toast, she's just I'm just having an horrific day.
Yeah.
She uses adjectives that are so intense and over the top.
Is she the Ashley? Is she the Ashley I?
She definitely has some Ashley I energy.
That's what I.
She
thought.
feels every emotion so deeply, and not only does she feel it, she expresses it outward so intensely.
Yeah.
It's It's so crazy.
You know
to
how many
watch in a
times
good
she was
way.
like, "I'm definitely going home. I'm going home. I hate." It's just like
I know.
so.
I feel like this is not the last time we see Genevieve try to send herself home. I think we got at least like 2 to 3 more of her trying to almost pack her bags.
Oh, and then it was funny when Justin grabbed her and told her that he was going on the date, and she's like, "It's fine."
Oh yeah. Thank you for reminding me. She goes,
That's great.
Oh, and again, I want Genevieve to read this book. I mean, sincerely think, I really want to know what Genevieve thinks of it. But she goes, what did she say? She said she wanted to put herself out there. And then she's talking to Justin about Justin and to Justin about like, she said, I feel a stronger connection with Justin in a day than I did to Clayton the whole time. Mm-hmm. And actually, as crazy as that sounds, like totally buy that. She spent absolutely no time with Clayton. He probably didn't give her really any attention. And then for an entire day, Justin completely focused on her. Mm-hmm. So I can totally understand why she feels that way. And then when Victoria came and had the date, she's like, well, what can I do? And she literally says, well, what could I say? I could say nothing. And I was just like, no, Genevieve, you can communicate your feelings and tell them exactly how you feel and draw that line of I like you and this is how I feel. And, you barely know me. I barely know you. But I want to build off this one day and say, hey, we have a limited amount of time. How many days do you plan on weighing your options? And go on this date if you want to go on this date. But just so you know, I'm not waiting around for you either. Like, I wish she would have said that. And I wish she would have said, listen, not to sound intense and not to I'm not staking my claim with you, but like, this is a choice you're making and I'm going to respond to this choice. And I wish she would have said that. And as opposed to saying, well, and I think Genevieve is such a relatable character. Again, it's such a hyperbolic world. It's extreme, but I think we all can relate to that feeling that Genevieve so like honestly describes, which is, this like the combination of I'll tell all my girlfriends or all my buddies like these intense feelings and this excitement I have of meeting someone, but I won't actually communicate with the person that actually needs to hear how I'm thinking and feeling. And they're not like, I'm not going to communicate to this person what I want because I don't want to upset them. I still want them to like me. I still want them to think I'm chill and cool. And I'll freak out behind closed doors. And instead of, and then they equate, being chill with not communicating their actual feelings. And there's nothing crazy about just like saying, hey, I would rather you not do that because we have something here. But if you do, I'm going to start making other choices myself. And you saw that with Justin as soon as he lost the rose. Like, why Justin pouting the whole time just because Aaron showed up? I'm just trying to understand, like, I'd love to ask Justin, like, what was the difference between what Genevieve did to you and what you did to her?
Yeah, because he called it hypocritical of her to go on another date, but that confused me because it wasn't like she said, hey, don't go on this date. I don't want to date other people. Like, it sounds like they had an open relationship or a non-exclusive relationship at that time in Paradise.
My guess is he accused her of being hypocritical because she expressed frustration with him after the date. We do this thing where I understand that it's just like you don't want to ask someone to do the dishes. You want them to want to do the dishes for you type of thing. And so like Genevieve, this whole thing is like, she was saying, I want him to like pursue me. I want him to go for me. I want him to pick me and I want him to do it a certain way. And she didn't want to like ruin it by saying, I like you. We should focus on this. Like you do have to put yourself out there a little bit and communicate what you want. And then like, but either way, like Genevieve had the right to be upset with how Justin pursued Victoria. And, I think she was a little harsh on Justin for being like, it's like an hour into the day and he like, it's like she wanted him to, she had all these expectations and she didn't communicate any of her expectations to Justin until after she realized he didn't meet any of them and then shared her frustrations.
And I think if she had done it before, and I totally sympathize with her just being like, yeah, it's fine, go on the date and not wanting to tell him how she was really feeling because that's hard. But I think she would have felt so empowered if she had, and it would have made that day a lot easier. She would have had some control back if she had said like, I like you and I want to keep pursuing you, and I'm upset you're going on this date, but I understand. And, I hope that when you come back, you can make a decision, because at the end of the day, he is going to hear from everyone on the beach that she was having a tough time that day. She's not going to be able to hide her frustrations, even if she doesn't tell him. So she may as well just tell him.
Yeah. Nevertheless, I don't think Justin was in a place to accuse Genevieve of being a hypocrite. It's like she had the right to be upset that you went on a date with someone else.
Mm-hmm. And she had the right to go on a date with someone else herself.
Exactly. But Justin basically accused her of being a hypocrite because she was frustrated at Justin's choice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, well, no, I'm going to go on a date so you can also be frustrated at my choice. In fact, it's quite the same.
I feel like that happens so frequently in relationships of like one person doesn't love the way a situation goes down. And then when the roles are reversed, they're like, well, it went down this shitty way this last time. So like we can replicate that. And then it leads to both people kind of feeling like there's hypocrisy when it's actually just like this mismatch in the way of handling it. And both people express frustration.
Yeah, 100%. It's just like disappointment that it didn't go the way you hoped it would go. But neither people are like setting upfront expectations with what their expectations are. It's just like, hey, I want you to do this. And then, like you still get, like, I understand we all want to be chosen. I understand we don't want to like force people, but like if you give them a blueprint of what your expectations are and they meet those expectations, not only is that, do you not lose any of the charm, but like you also know that this person is going to make me a priority, because if all I have to do is articulate my expectations or my hopes, and then they are willing to do those things, like that's so much better than not giving them any clue what you're looking for, hope they figure it out, and then like love them because like they love you so much that they can read your mind even though they know nothing about you.
Yeah. What did you think about her pulling Andrew into the whole thing too? Like not only not communicating with Justin, but then going to Andrew and being like, well, will you tell me what he tells you? And Andrew's like, no, he's going to talk to you. He's going to be transparent.
I thought Andrew handled that situation really well, because she put him in a difficult position that I think a lot of people go to out of insecurity. They go to the friend.
Yeah.
And I think he did a good job of just being like, look, it's going to be okay. You guys can have that conversation. He's going to be honest with you.
Totally. Other than not being a closer, I think Andrew is he's an A+ human. I fucking love Andrew. Mm-hmm. Like he does everything. I've very few people I've met have handled every situation I've seen them in such an awesome way. Like Andrew is very communicative, and even like this episode you saw with Teddi, it's just like his willingness to just put himself out there. He handles disappointment so well. Like
there's a lot of emotional maturity there.
So
for
much
sure.
with Andrew.
And there's also a history of him doing that on Katie's season. And I think this really legitimizes it, where it's not like, oh, maybe he just like wasn't as into Katie, so it was easy. Like it really like enforces that like this is the way he like handles like adversity and interpersonal scenarios. And he just like, it's so impressive.
No, Andrew's interpersonal skills are an absolute A+. Like there's a lot of people who have impressed me from Bachelor Nation, and Andrew is definitely in an elite class of people. But yeah, I mean, with Genevieve, I think she's very sweet. I think she's incredibly relatable, and I think she's just a little emotionally immature. I don't mean that necessarily as a criticism, but as an opportunity for growth. We've all been there, and I think you're seeing. I appreciate Genevieve's authenticity of being a relatable character. And for anyone listening, and I'm sure people are going to be harsh and put some mean tweets, but like Genevieve is at least authentic of who she is, and she allows us to have a conversation about these very relatable topics that like relate to everybody.
Yeah, Genevieve is not being anyone but Genevieve, and I think it sounds like from what she's saying, her love languages are words of affirmation and physical touch, considering she complimented Aaron for being affectionate and complimenting her. So I have a feeling that Aaron's going to take the lead on this one between him and Justin. And they also just seem like a better match to me.
But I also think Justin could also be a little upset because there was rumors that Genevieve and Aaron were I think with a lot of people on this show, everybody fucking talks before the show. Yeah. Everybody talks, everybody DMs, people hang out, and it just makes it so much harder when you go down there and you catch feelings for somebody, and then in the back of your mind, you're like, well, if this person comes down, there's rumors that they might have hooked up or they have talked before. So then you get in your head about that. And I also think maybe that's also what happened with Justin.
Yeah.
And then Aaron came down. He's like, oh, well, I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, Justin's this incredibly good looking guy, charming, nice, charismatic. He, again, like if on paper, he seems great. I think he lacks a little confidence that I think people are surprised by, that you see on this show, where, like, you know, kind of like Aaron and what's his name who came down? James. Like, you know, like again, like Bachelor's notorious for like casting like these tall, great looking guys who like are surprisingly insecure or who aren't very good communicators or maybe lack emotional maturity and aren't necessarily like the juxtaposition between like every time Michael talks on camera versus some of these other guys is this such night and day.
But did you think I flagged this? And I don't know if anyone else felt this way. After Aaron and James came down and James asked Shanae on the date, Logan had like a little ITM moment and he said, the guy with the 12-pack is asking Shanae on a date. So it's like kind of a sign not to get too comfortable. And I didn't know if that was kind of like rude to Shanae. Like, oh, a hot guy is interested in her, so I guess I better step up my game.
Yeah, I guess in a way it was, right? Like it was basically Logan projecting an insecurity that, you know, maybe he's not as in the physical shape as he wants to be, or a little envious of the way James and Aaron look. But you're right. I mean, it's a I don't think Logan meant it as a dig towards Shanae. I think that was him being insecure, and then obviously that came across that Shanae only is going to like him for his abs, but
it's also him setting up his heartbreak character.
Yeah,
he's already like, oh, I'm gonna lose to a guy with 12-pack, but I'm a good guy.
Yeah, I'm a good guy. Also, and like,
so far I like Logan. Like I enjoy watching him.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, he definitely can be an aloof dick when he doesn't like someone.
Oh
you
my
know,
God!
that conversation with
that was rough.
Snails versus turtles.
He was kind of a prick.
It's giving
Haley.
middle school. Like, just like that. Like, I don't want, like, not even making eye contact, the tone of voice.
When are you going to come out of your shell? Huh?
Yeah. No, it was definitely like, I did not love that for him. Like the approach he could and should have used is to like get really engaged and immediately friend zone her.
Yeah.
You know, like all Logan had to do was to like be like, oh, so I'm like, really excited about Shanae. Can I ask some of your advice? Like, what do you think I should do? Blah, blah, blah. How are these other guys? Like, well, who are you into? Like, all Logan had to do was just turn that conversation on its head and just talk about his interest, friend zone her. But you know, I'm sure she would have been disappointed, but he could have like made a friend, and then he could have made an ally, and then he could have been super supportive, and he could have gassed her up and made her feel complimented her, and he could have looked like a hero, but instead he just sits there and acts like her presence was like completely inconveniencing his like meditation or something. Like,
yeah,
Logan,
like he was playing video games and his mom was like pestering him about folding laundry.
Yeah, I did not love that for Logan. I've been on the fence. Like some weeks I'm defending Logan, sometimes I'm criticizing, but like that was a low. It was a low moment for Logan.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think he was being...
He could have handled that much.
He could have. I think Logan just didn't care. And he didn't want to try to care. And it was just rough to watch because Haley was obviously trying to be cute and flirty and sweet. And he just could not care less.
And I get not caring with in certain situations, but like he did not do a good job of like empathizing with the situation and her vulnerability.
Yeah, she was really putting herself out there and he was not even trying to kind of make her feel good about it.
Yeah, such a shame for Logan, but an L for Logan. I don't know. It made me want to root for him less. I was hoping for a bit of a redemption there, but it was just more like, okay.
Yeah, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah, I'm really curious how Logan will handle disappointment himself.
I think not well. I hope I'm wrong, but I think not well.
I hope you're right.
I mean, it'll be more entertaining.
Yeah.
But I like to be proven wrong. I
agree.
I like an underdog, someone that'll surprise you.
Yeah.
But right now, from the way he's acted, I think that, I mean, Shanae even teased, the 26-year-old, which a little ageist, I guess. But I mean, she is essentially saying he's a little immature and it's going to come out.
Yeah. Well, it is coming out. And then we have Aaron and James come down. I mean, they look great. Clearly, they've been in the gym since they got off Paradise.
They're always in the gym.
I'll tell you what. So they were on our season of Paradise. I had breakfast with those two every morning because I'm an early riser. And we were all up at like 7 a.m. just eating breakfast. And it was just always us three.
Yeah, I'd come down every morning and it would be Joe, James, and Aaron sitting at the same table, eating the same breakfast every single day, the entire time we were there.
They are comical though. Whatever. What did he say about, what was the line with the beach?
Oh my gosh. something about the sea being the best moisturizer or something. I don't know.
Funny.
I think they're so entertaining.
They're entertaining, but we agree they have absolutely no game when it comes to dating.
You know what's funny that I don't know if this will surprise people or not? I remember James saying when we were on the show that he's actually like a serial dater. Like he is a relationship guy, which I feel like you wouldn't expect watching him.
I think their friendship is like, it's fun to watch. It's been good for them. But as far as relationships go, it's a detriment to their personal lives. I think, I've never met either. Well, actually, no, I've met them both briefly when I hosted that Dana and Katie season, but I haven't really gotten to know them. I know Aaron's a fan favorite on Paradise. I was not Team Aaron. I just thought he was a bit of a whiner and a complainer, and he just, didn't really focus on himself. And I definitely think he's surprisingly insecure for someone who seems to have everything going for him. But like when he was like, who was he talking to? When it's like, oh, I think I'm into you, and it's like, well, that's why I pulled you, and it's just like those kind of like lines where they're kind of thinks it sounds macho, but it comes across as so like.
I don't think anything that comes out of his mouth is that serious, though. Like I think it's always meant to be a bit of a joke.
Yeah, he's scared to be vulnerable, in my opinion.
Yeah, like really go for it.
Yeah,
I want to say, like, I don't feel like we've ever really got to know the real Aaron. Like, I mean, I'm sure this who he shows is part of who he is, this fun and goofy guy. But I personally am over fun and goofy Aaron. I want to, like, all right, this is your third time on The Bachelor Bachelor show. This is your second time on Paradise. I want to see Aaron really go for it. I want to see him actually try to date and be sincere, and not just, last year it was like he tried to date someone, but he didn't really try to, like, he just tried to be with someone. He just tried to get roses
he wasn't
from
actually
people.
pursuing anyone.
And he would get mad when someone like could kiss him and then kiss someone else. But like, he didn't seem really engaged with anyone and really vulnerable. And I hope we see that this time around, because I'm just kind of over the shtick.
Yeah, I think we've seen the goofy side of him, and I think the best way to see the vulnerable side is if he hopefully makes a connection. It seems like Genevieve and him have a potentially good thing going, and I think if he ends up in a relationship that he's willing to pursue, we might hopefully get to see that side of him, because we definitely haven't seen it yet.
I think we started to. I think the end of the conversation between Aaron and Genevieve, you see Aaron opening up a little more, and I think it's going to lead into the next few episodes.
I also think they're both people with such like a fierce sense of justice that has resulted in them both being at the center of drama in the past. So I think they will really thrive
That's a great
as a
way to
united
put it.
front. Also, I'm so curious, what did we make of like the Johnny last minute Victoria switch?
She played, the lines that were coming out of Victoria's mouth.
Like,
hold my hand
closer. Victoria is a closer.
It was.
She's an absolute closer. That's the only difference between Victoria and Genevieve is the confidence.
Yeah.
They're both beautiful women. They both have, passionate personalities. But Victoria, I think she knows, Victoria, I've gotten to know her. She can admit her own insecurities too, but she's still
very confident.
She knows her self-worth.
Yeah.
And it seems like Genevieve hasn't really fully appreciated the value she brings to the table. Like, she knows she does. Like, she says it, but you don't really see it with like just having some patience of letting guys pursue you and like, prioritizing these are what I'm looking for. I'm going to communicate this, and I'm going to feel confident communicating this because I know what I want.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be afraid to disappoint someone with my expectations. And I think that's the biggest difference between Victoria and Genevieve. But yeah, Victoria, like you see the confidence, you see her open-mindedness and her playfulness. And the way it was edited seemed like it was a bit of all of a sudden of a swerve, because she went from like, and she's I love how she's very careful with Justin. She's like, well, obviously, I had a good time. I asked you on this date. And then all of a sudden she's like, well, I'm gonna, like, she timed it perfectly between Justin giving Genevieve a birthday cake. And so it's like, all right, well, I guess
the door's still open.
Door's still open.
I also think she might have just had interest in Johnny. I don't know if we like missed a conversation with them or something, because in her interviews, she seems like excited and kind of giddy to talk to him.
And that was my favorite thing to watch in both episodes because we always see at the cocktail party the last minute poll and it never works out. Forever's trying to do it.
Yeah.
And Victoria just comes in and just nails it.
But Victoria,
like she just crushed it.
One of her many talents in this situation is she's a good flirt.
Yeah.
She knows how to flirt. Like that's a skill.
Yeah.
She literally was like, did the whole hair thing.
Yeah.
Like, when Johnny paid her a compliment, she's an excellent flirt. She's very confident. I think she knows that she has her pick. Like, I think she's very confident, and whoever I decide whose rose I want to accept, that's the rose I'll get.
Yeah.
Such a bummer for Hunter, though, because I feel like she really didn't like kind of rug pulled out from under you at the last minute, have no chance to prepare. And like also she didn't really get like a chance to kind of like have a rebuttal, you know, like it was just like, ooh.
All I could think about was don't lead with poo.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, it's just like, I don't know anything about you, Hunter, and I appreciate your vulnerability. But like, just don't lead with poo.
Yeah.
I know I'm bumming you out, Allie, but Allie likes
Here's
to,
the thing. As someone with IBS, I don't think I'd lead with it either.
Am I the only one who's like, I thought that was relatable and lovely?
It was relatable and debatable on the lovely part. I'm just saying, like, that's just
Maybe
Like,
not for like a
endearing.
sexy dating show.
her lasting impression will always be
IBS.
like, I'm always going to be wondering if she has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, if I meet her in person, I'm going to be like, just so you know, the bathroom's around the corner.
I think it's relatable with her talking about it and even talking about it at the beginning. I don't really have an issue with it. It was more just like the visual of her sitting on the toilet, which is just like,
And again,
Yes.
like,
I don't think we really needed that.
everyone
No.
poops. I get it. And good for her for being vulnerable. I just like,
Yeah.
that is your,
that's your legacy now,
that's your
girl.
legacy, you know?
You
And it's
IBS.
unfortunate because I thought
actually
she was,
like her.
yeah, I like her and I thought she was going to go further. I pegged her for somebody when I saw her to be someone that's going to get engaged.
Yeah, Joe on Clayton season was like, I bet you Hunter goes to Paradise and gets engaged to someone. I liked her. I actually wish she had stuck around a little longer. And I did feel bad because she'd invested 3 days in this guy, thought it was a for sure thing. And then one convo with Victoria and she's out of there, which that's a bummer. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second that Genevieve like slapped Shanae's butt,
Yes.
I was like, that's friendship.
They're friends.
Like that's the moment. Like the shot heard around the world.
That's my favorite
Shot.
part so far of this season is to see.
Genevieve and Shanae.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, listen, whatever you know, on Clayton season, you know, I know, like, whether you liked Shanae or didn't like Shanae or whatever, it's good to see people recognize that people have good sides, even if you don't see them at first. And sometimes it's not, when we think we hate someone or we think someone, you know, usually we have a tendency as people to feel a certain way about someone based on how we think they feel about us. So if we think they don't like us, we'll decide we hate them. And at the end of the day, all we really want is a hug or, you know, or to be liked. And it's nice to see Genevieve and Shanae, you know, find some common ground and realize that maybe they're not enemies, and maybe the common denominator or the real villain, again, is just the atmosphere they find themselves in and just giving into their insecurities.
Yeah, it made me like Genevieve more. I felt like I expected it from Shanae to be kind of open to the potential friendship because she was kind of living her redemption story. But with Genevieve, I didn't know if she was going to stay hard on the against Shanae train. And for her to be like, no, like I'm open to it. Shanae's showing me a whole new side of herself. And I can see this and recognize that people are both good and bad. And like I'm willing to be open to this friendship. Just kind of, it made me like Genevieve more.
Yeah, Genevieve is a very likable person on the show now. Like she really is. Do we want to talk about you want to touch on the whole like opening Sally's suitcase? Sally's not
my
there.
God,
the
yeah.
The skit.
I totally forgot about this.
I thought good. I'm glad they're giving Wells some like actual like
I said
TV
that,
time.
yeah.
You know,
Wells in the acting props.
Yeah.
I love that they're having some fun. They continue to have some comedy. I think that's great. I hope they continue it.
Do you think that story's true that he told?
Of course not. No. Like no one sat in a trunk for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Her suitcase showed up. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Like,
How do you feel about the fact that the girls opened up and went through the suitcase? Whether it really is hers or not. I mean, I'm sure she didn't pack a waffle maker.
I think kind of shitty.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's very.
I
I
would-
don't think I would be very upset if somebody opened up my suitcase and just went through it.
Yeah,
Because,
I had an issue with
especially
that.
I'm not even there.
And the
like,
vibrate, and it was her
Yeah.
vibrator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I thought
That was kind of a violation.
Yeah, I thought
it was
very
not
invasive.
not the
I
right
didn't like
vibe.
that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, why are we?
She's like, they're like throwing her extensions on the floor. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there was some encouragement for them to do that. I don't think they just randomly decided to open it up, but I had
it's
a
their
huge,
call. They're adults. They're
Yeah.
it was not okay.
Yeah. And then it was like everyone, they were all acting like it was the first time they've ever seen a vibrator. Like, what?
They're throwing it around. They're like running it around the
Yeah.
beach.
I thought that was pretty
Yeah, I
rude.
thought that was not cool of,
No.
of them. Who did that?
I think it was, Jill
Genevieve.
and Hunter. Oh,
Genevieve had it
and
at the bar.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I think it was Lace who brought
Everyone
it to everyone's
upstairs.
attention, and then they all went up there, and then I think there was like 4 or 5 of them just said like, let's just
Jill-
open it.
But it's funny because like 6 of them came up and only I think 2 of them opened it. So
Who opened it?
I'm pretty sure it was Jill and Genevieve.
Yeah, I
Right?
think so too. Yeah.
Mhm. What do we think of Jill?
She's got a good personality to watch. I mean, her interviews are pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I mean, she's very intense. Like what we said, like when she's like, I don't want to say, I have nothing to say. I
This
don't
is-
want to have a conversation with you, Romeo.
This is
but
my-
sit down, let's have a conversation, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
not listen. I don't know.
That's my personal pet peeve. Like, not even just like Jill. Anyone that says like accepts a conversation, like yes, I will have a conversation with you, and starts it with I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to have a conversation with you. It's just my personal pet
Yeah.
peeve.
Well, yeah,
have
I
it or
mean-
don't have it.
Listen, Romeo acted like an idiot, no doubt.
For sure.
But she is taking that to an extreme. Like I think she said, like I've been dragged in the mud for 3 days straight. It's like well, I think you're taking this a little extreme here.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not even. I'm still confused whether they were just friends or not.
Yeah,
exactly.
me too. I think they were just friends before the show, and that maybe there was like a hope that it could turn into something more down on the beach. But I know him and Kira kissed. I don't think there was anything physical with him and Jill, or I feel like it would have been mentioned.
Again, it's for people listening that end up on this show and you do go on Paradise, try to just don't talk to anybody before you
Don't
go.
say-
I mean, you have like a 2-month window.
It's one bit of advice I give everyone: just don't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go on Paradise,
Yeah.
don't talk to anyone. And you can be friendly, but make it very clear that you're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jill is, she's very intense.
Yeah.
And she has a lot of expectations that she doesn't communicate directly.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I'd be curious. I'm curious to see where her story goes in terms of relationships, because I do think she really wants to find somebody, but obviously she's off to a really rocky start.
But she's very expressive in the way she speaks, and she's a good narrator.
I
and
think there's a lot of similarities between Jill and Genevieve. I think that's probably why they get along so well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, similar. I mean, they're similar to their intensity. I
Yeah,
guess,
like in
but
their emotional intensity and how they feel things and how they process things.
I think the reason I think I find Genevieve more endearing is that Genevieve she's really open about her like vulnerability and weaknesses, and I think Jill puts up more of a front a little bit.
Yeah,
and I
she's
think-
definitely more guarded with her insecurities, whereas Genevieve's like, I suck at this.
She's like, I suck at this. I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whatevs. And where I feel like Jill wants to sound, again, like she's at a place in her life that she doesn't quite really believe in kind of her confidence level or emotional maturity. And where Genevieve is just like truly vulnerable with where she's at.
And the only emotion I think we're seeing from Jill is angry. And it's very hard to, like, when somebody's just, every time she's on, she's mad. And like Romeo, you are not good enough for me. And it's just like, and there's no like, I just feel sad right now or any like softer, I don't know.
But I think that goes hand in hand with what Nick's saying about her having kind of like a guard and a front up
For sure.
and wanting to protect herself. Who'd she get her rose from again?
She got it from Romeo.
Romeo.
Oh, yeah.
And she accepted it.
She
That's what I'm saying.
did.
It's like you say all these things to him and then you still accept his rose.
But that's what I mean. Romeo did not need to go around and ask permission to hand out his rose. They are like Jill, Kira, whoever would have accepted that rose.
I mean-
and no shade on them.
But like Jill told Romeo, like the door's closed. Like you have no chance with me. So he should have just gave it to Hunter. Like,
But I
give
think
it to somebody else.
I think he felt bad for what he did to Jill and thought that maybe this was a way to recover from what happened. Not necessarily like pursue a
He
relationship
was like
with
trying
her.
to save his character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like say nice things about me.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I think the "you're
Probably.
scaring me" line really got to him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Ashley and Jared,
Yes.
love that for them.
Love
Yeah.
that for them.
And I love how I made it the classic "You'll never
You
be with
did.
Jared."
You did make
You
it.
made it.
I was like, I knew. I saw when they started doing flashback. I'm like 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
I still stand by that comment.
They're literally married with a child.
Yeah. Well, she had to start dating someone else first. I saw Jared wake up. He was living with me when he woke up and realized what he had lost.
He was
And
like,
it
"I'm
wasn't
gonna
until she was gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Wow. That's really how it do be sometimes.
it's how it works sometimes. Sometimes we have a hard time seeing what's right in front of us until that person kind of stands in their power. And like as soon as you start, like Ashley and Jared is a perfect reminder. And I love them and they have an amazing relationship. But like sometimes we just have to show people that we believe in our self-worth for people to see it. As opposed to hoping that someone gets chosen or we get picked or things like that. Sometimes you just have to say, I know I'm enough. I believe I'm enough. And if you don't want that, then I'll be just fine. And that's exactly what Ashley did. And Jared lost his mind.
A little jealousy lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah, I mean, it happens sometimes. I don't believe Genevieve's going to find love this season. My hope for Genevieve is that she goes through whatever experience she goes through and she comes back next season a whole different person. Like my greatest hope for so far this season with the storyline I'm rooting for is the Genevieve kind of emotional maturity kind of growth. And she comes down this kind of very, she's still herself. She's still an expressive, emotional person, but a lot more confident in what she brings to the table. Because she clearly does. She's a perfect example of someone who just looks in the mirror and doesn't see what other people see when it comes to her many, I'm sure, good attributes.
Yeah.
Maybe Ashley, I will kind of guide her through that process.
Maybe, yeah. I can see them being
A
kindred
little
spirits.
mentor moment.
Yeah.
That'd be cute. Would you ever do what they're doing? Go back down?
Yeah, it'd be fun. But like they would never ask me.
Have they said how long they're going to be there for?
I think they were there for a minute. I think they're going to be on a few
Yeah.
episodes.
They
Yeah.
don't say it. But,
no,
but I think they're there for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not a success story. Yeah,
Depends how you look at it.
to them.
To them.
I'm not a success story to them. They definitely like to remind people that love is still possible.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't see myself
Going
ever
back.
playing that mentor role on Paradise.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a fun little twist. I feel like we've never seen bets
Yeah.
go back down like this. Fun to watch.
Twist.
Any final thoughts, ladies, from LA?
Just my one thought is that I wish they would do one Paradise season where it started with women getting the roses, because I think it always sets the tone of
did.
like
I think they have.
And I think both my seasons, yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
No,
didn't.
the guys had
You
the
had
roses,
them.
but my first season, which was Bachelor in Paradise, we were 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 5, the women had the roses because I remember thinking, shit, what if I don't get a rose twice?
Oh,
Yeah, like Heather, right?
Haley.
Haley.
Or like, yeah, I wish they alternated a little bit more. Like just went back and forth, because I think
do you think it's because of do you think it's a numbers thing? Like they have more girls to send down to the beach, so they have to circulate more girls out? Like I'd love to do the math of like how many girls hit the beach versus how many guys. Like do they start with guys with the roses? Like is it even, or do guys get the roses more often and then more girls hit the beach? I don't know. Maybe
I don't
that's
know
a weird
either.
way to
I
look
think
at
it's
it.
just more of a choice because I don't think they're lacking in options when it comes to men or women.
Or is it like, do you think it's like the women give more on that first week of like really trying to fight for the guys than the guys give for the women?
I think so. And the guy, I mean, it's clear, right? Like it seems the energy, at least early on the beach, is smart in real life or practical. No, just to like decide to like someone and hope that they like you back. No, but in Paradise, like it actually makes more sense. Like I don't like that some of the people on the beach are just hoping to be liked. Nevertheless, like the women aren't fucking around. And like, you know, it's like between Justin and Genevieve, like I just like, as soon as Justin was like, well, I just want to talk. I'm just weighing my options. It's just like, well, what do you mean you're weighing? You know, it's just like, it just doesn't come across well on Paradise. And I think you're right. I think maybe historically the women are more willing to just jump in and start going for like finding a connection. And the guys are just more like, well, I just want to figure it out. And I just want to like see, and I just want to like, you know, like weigh my options. And yeah, I think maybe it just kicks off Paradise a little bit more intense. I think that's probably why. Now, I'm curious what happens next week, but I think now that, you know, the men get comfortable being there, they have established some friendships, they'll be more desired to want to stay as well. And you'll elicit some of the same responses from them.
Right. This week with the woman having the roses.
Yeah. I think that's I think you kind of nailed it, Serena, if I had to guess. It just makes
it's a response thing.
It makes for a better start.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But don't worry, Amanda. I am sure you'll see a lot of men act a fool on the beach, because all that matters is just the more they want to stay, the more willing they are to be their worst selves.
They're hooked. You heard Logan. He's like, I love it here. He's going to do what he's got to do to get Shanae's rose. How did we end this episode?
Teddi leaving.
With Teddi just leaving.
Oh yeah, Teddi leaving. Yeah.
Right.
Irish exiting.
They dragged on Serena looking for Teddi just too long. Somebody just tell Serena
know.
fucking Teddi.
I know the poor girl had to wander the entire freaking beach. I'm like, she's in a van. She is in a van.
Yeah.
You gotta get that B-roll.
I know, it was way too much B-roll.
Are they going to implement a different swimsuit policy next year? Because the poor editor that is putting those black boxes on everyone's butts.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like they do
it's
it
more
to make
than
it more
it's more than it's ever
scandalous.
been. There's a lot of butts being covered this year.
But it makes no sense. They've shown that so much and more on it. Like
Don't they have to pay for the black boxes? I think like the black boxes cost them money.
Yeah, I think it's like, I feel like I've heard it's like expensive to do the black boxes.
Well, I don't know why they do it. Because it doesn't.
I don't know why they
are. I don't know either.
Because they often do it when they definitely don't need to. I understand that maybe there's some more, you know, like more skimpy bathing suits, I guess, you know, are in the trend these days. But I mean, whatevs. Michael A. and Sierra. We don't.
I don't see a romantic connection. I see more of a stronger friendship building with the hopes of romance. Yeah. That's what I see.
When Michael, he led with, I like taking things slow. And I'm not in any way suggest, like, he was very quick to bring up his wife who has passed away. And I feel like Michael knows when to do that and when not to. And like, I think if Michael met someone he was really excited about, I don't think he would lead with, like, that's a perfect example of how Michael was able to, you know, I think he kind of likes her, but instead of ignoring her like Logan did, instead of making her feel bad, he's just like, I'll just have a conversation with her. I'll talk to her. I'll make her feel very seen, but also kind of set the stage of where I am emotionally, which is maybe not engaged here. Because right off the bat, he's just like, you know, just take things slow and things like that. And again, when we meet people, like everyone takes things slow until
they get swept off their feet.
Yeah. And then maybe they still want to take things slow, but instead of telling the person that you're having a conversation with about a potential romance, instead of saying things like, just so you know, I take things slow, it's, hey, I'm excited and I'm nervous because I'd like to take things slow, but I'm just so like caught up in the moment. It's just like you're saying the same thing, you just say it incredibly differently, as opposed to like, I just don't want you to get carried away because I take things slow, as opposed to like, I'm having a hard time slowing myself down because you're here. Like, it's such a subtle difference, but it means
it's a small difference, but the message is very different.
Is very different. Yeah. I don't see a connection there at all. Like, but I think Michael A. is doing a good job of, I'll be curious how that relationship will end.
Yeah, I think he's exploring it and she's exploring it actively. I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot of like makeout shots from them specifically, but I think there's definitely like a balancing of expectations from him, at least, of like, okay, I don't know where this is going to go. But yeah, I think they have a strong friendship. I mean, they've had some really great conversations that we've seen.
Well, it'll be really interesting because Michael A. is kind of getting this Prince Charming edit, and he is truly a Prince Charming in life. But there are some like parallels between Michael A. and Sierra and like the energy and what we saw last season with Brandon and Natasha. And we all know how that played out, where like Natasha seemed really into Brandon. Brandon was just like, I'll hang out with you because like I'm just going to like, I'm not pursuing anyone else, so you're pursuing me, and so we'll be nice. I don't think it's going to play out the way it played out with Natasha and how poorly Brandon handled things. But I feel the same energy between Brandon and Natasha and Michael A. and Sierra. So I'm really curious how Michael A. will maneuver out of that relationship if he decides that there's nothing to pursue after a certain period of time.
But I also don't think Sierra is that into him. I feel like Natasha expressed more to Brendan that she was like into him. I see Sierra. I just feel like they're building a strong friendship. That's what it seems.
Did some making out.
But they are making out.
I feel like
Yeah, they
out
are
of
making out.
everyone on the beach, they enjoy hanging out with each other the most in terms of like a potential romantic partner, and they're just going with that for now. And I feel like I don't know who's more into who. I would say Sierra's more into him, but I don't even really feel like she's like, oh my gosh, but I think we've yet to see a lot of their storyline. I don't think it's going to be endgame for them by any means, but I don't know. I think we have a little bit more of them to see. I feel like we've only seen maybe 1 or 2 conversations with them so far, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Joe, Serena, thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you guys are great. Remind the people where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
You can find me on Instagram at Serena_Pitt, and then I think TikTok is just Serena Pitt.
I'm Joe Amabile 1 on Instagram, Amabile. And like Amabile Joe on Twitter and think TikTok's Joe Amabile, something like that. So yeah, Sundays with Joe's my sauce. There you go.
Yeah, get the sauce.
.com, sundayswithjoe.com.
It's great sauce. It's amazing.
Very good.
Yep.
Don't forget to buy Don't Text Your Ex Happy Birthday. We'll be back on Thursday with Jason Alabaster. Gabby's Jason. All your burning questions will finally be answered with Jason. It was a great conversation. I hope you check it out. And that is on Thursday. And until then, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos, like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice, as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.